Over at DC Comics, Batman and Robin have been in a long-standing war in the pages of the aptly named Batman vs. Robin, as we saw father and son duke it out when they were controlled by a mysterious third party known as the Devil Nezha. But in the pages of DC Comics' Lazarus Planet Omega, the tables turned as now Batman was seen influenced by the mysterious Nezha this time around, and just as DC thought they repelled King Fireball's forces and effectively stopped both Nezha and Fireball in their tracks, they learned that none other than Batman has fallen under the influence of one of their most formidable foes in recent years. My name is arakkobraddock, and today let's go ahead and take a look at the fallout of Lazarus Planet over in Batman vs. Robin number 5. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button if you enjoy our content. And I want to read off DC's solicitation text for Batman vs. Robin 5 to get you caught up to speed on several of the key events in the issue. Will father and son reconcile or rumble? The Lazarus Volcano has left its impact on planet Earth, but the fallout from Bruce and Damian Wayne is far from over. It's been a long road from the initial tensions that drove a wedge between father and son in the pages of Teen Titans. But is the hatchet at last ready to be buried? A bold new chapter in the lives of Batman and Robin begins in this epic final issue. And I want to go ahead and share the creative team behind Batman vs. Robin number 5. This one is written by Mark Waid, illustrated by Mahmud Asrar. We have colors from Jordie Bellaire and letters from Steve Wands. Plus, we have a beautiful cover over from Mahmud Asrar and Nathan Fairbairn that I actually want to go ahead and show off right now. And here is a look at the cover for Batman vs. Robin 5. I really like how this issue or just the cover for the issue teases so many of the plot threads in this issue. We get a look at the greater Bat family, the sort of emphasis that this issue places on the relationship between Damian and Bruce, as well as some kind of new ripples over from the Devil Nezha and Monkey Prince, as well as the kind of lingering subtext behind what's going on with Alfred right now in the pages of Batman vs. Robin. And plus, this cover, surprisingly enough, is very kind of indicative of the actual interior pages of the issue, as it's also drawn by Mahmud Asrar. I want to thank Adventures in Poor Taste for posting this preview of the issue with all these covers so incredibly quickly. And let's kick things off here by just taking a look at Mahmud Asrar's beautiful art in the issue. I really enjoy the way that Asrar depicts all of these characters with so much motion on the page. It just feels like Asrar is one of DC's most composed yet expressive artists, and just bridges so many different fascinating facial expressions throughout the issue. We've got just so many sort of great character poses, and in a series devoted to kind of fleshing out the dark magic side of the DC universe, you need somebody whose artwork is incredibly precise, and I really think that Asrar fits the bill here. This page in particular really kind of struck me in an interesting way, because I just thought this sort of grimace from, the Batman influenced by the Devil Nezha looking into Damian was just so kind of creepy and interesting to behold. Yet again here, the characters are both emoting. We can clearly see a strained expression from Damian and a really happy expression over from the Batman Nezha duo. So I just think there's just so much wonderful kind of subtext, lurking throughout this issue in some of the facial expressions for the different characters. And I feel like, just kind of as a sidebar over from the writing with Mark Waid, I feel like when we get stories like this, there's usually some sort of big reservation that we have to make. Usually there's something wrong with ginormous event series, but I think the plotting in later issues of Batman vs. Robin, as well as Lazarus Planet, has actually sort of, cleared up and made things more concise. The status quo flip from the beginning of Batman vs. Robin to the end of Batman vs. Robin is a really cool, almost magic trick that Mark Waid makes in this issue that makes these sort of Batman versus Robin epilogue and this issue actually feel a little bit meaningful for me, just as a reader of the series. I think if DC was planning on, creating an epilogue for the Lazarus Planet event, doing so by going back to the pages of Batman versus Robin is just so incredibly creative. I know a lot of people probably aren't anticipating for, Batman and Robin to come back for just essentially one issue to make an epilogue chapter for the event. But thanks to all of the sort of narrative beats Mark Waid has, led up to in the pages of Batman, Superman, World's Finest, and Batman versus Robin, I feel like at the end of the day, this is coming together incredibly cohesively, towards these last couple issues of the series. One thing that I want to make sure I mention before we go any further into this review is that Lazarus Planet has only kind of softly ended because DC is actually going to continue Lazarus Planet with Revenge of the Gods, an upcoming miniseries that's going to flesh out certain aspects that we've seen from Lazarus Planet, like the cast of Shazam characters, as well as Yara Flor. And also, please stay tuned to the channel because we will be covering those Lazarus Planet Revenge of the Gods titles. However, I think Batman vs. Robin 5 takes on a little bit of a different part of Lazarus Planet as we kind of get more of the conclusion between that really sort of like climactic emotional arc between Damian and Bruce that we've seen over the past couple years, which basically started, all the way back to the creation of Damian, and it was really seated nicely in Joshua Williamson's Robin series over with Gleb Melnikov. I'm so happy that DC writers seem to be collaborating with so many different plot beats from all of these books. And I feel like if you put the kind of relationship with Bruce and Damian in a little bit more context, I think this issue is a lot more rewarding than it would be otherwise. Now, I do think there's sort of one reservation that I had about, this chapter of the series, and that's just simply that I felt that the final sort of narrative beat in the chapter was a little bit too predictable, a little bit too sudden, and something that wasn't really kind of fast. It wasn't something that really kind of pulled me into the story. I wish DC would have included, some new nugget of continuity to like tease or set up the next story over from Mark Waid, because I think we've just been building off of this sort of meta narrative for Damian Wayne for such a long time. And I don't think that it's going to end in this final chapter of Batman versus Robin. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of new story to put Damian and Bruce in kind of a new scenario. And I would have loved if the issue would have included, some later plotting from that aspect. I really have to commend DC for all of the work they're doing with the Monkey Prince. The way that the Monkey Prince's, untraditional DC narrative has been kind of infused into the narrative of Lazarus Planet and even Batman versus Robin on some level has been just so enthralling to see. I think it really kind of adds some diversity in the DC universe and makes their continuity feel more rich and immersive than it would have otherwise. Plus, seeing Mahmud Asrar draw the Monkey Prince in certain panels is just absolutely gorgeous to look at. The panel where, early in the issue where we first see the Monkey Prince and Damian interacting is just a wonderful page that really shows off the incredibly dynamic artwork over from Asrar. So aside from just a few reservations, I think this is a really kind of solid chapter of Batman versus Robin, just putting a nice bow on so many of the plot threads that we've gotten for the series over at DC this far. So those were my thoughts over on Batman versus Robin. This is an incredibly solid chapter of this sort of like mini DC Comics event tying into Lazarus Planet. One thing that I'll say about this is that I think Mark Waid has really done a great job kind of plotting these books. And I think that the end of Batman versus Robin in particular has been so much better than the beginning due to the fact that we're past a couple of those really contrived plot points with Damian Wayne that we saw early in the series. I really hope that Mark Waid will kind of continue sort of like crafting this meta narrative. I would really like to see him, work on upcoming Damian stories and work again with the Devil Nezha. I have to say that there are so many sort of aspects about this event that are just so kind of captivating and interesting. And it's been great to sort of read and get a really solid epilogue on this entry into Lazarus Planet in the sort of Batman versus Robin saga. So I want to know from you, what were some of your thoughts over from Batman versus Robin? Did you like this issue as much as I did? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for coming to check out the video. And of course, we'll be back soon with more excellent comic book content. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon. Bye.